Vase, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I have a very exciting and long-awaited project that I have been putting off for quite some time, and that is rearranging and redesigning my loft space. This space is actually what I have been using and have claimed as my office since we first moved into this house 4.5 years ago. The biggest reason why I have been craving a change in this space is because what I've found is that over time that I have just come to sort of avoid this space altogether, even though that this view and that this space is one of the biggest reasons why my heart leapt when I first viewed this home 4 years ago. It's one of the things that I envisioned in my vision board for years and years of the view that I would have staring out of my home. But this space has come to just sort of remind me of an old version of myself that doesn't align with who I am now in the current season that I'm in. So my goal today is to re-inspire this space into something that suits me now in the season that I'm currently in and will be able to morph and mold and change with me in the seasons to come. So I hope that this video inspires you to take a look at spaces in your home that you feel maybe you neglect or avoid because they remind you of a past version of yourself that maybe no longer is who you truly are. I don't have any regrets on choices that I have made over these last 4 years. And I feel like I owe it to myself to enjoy my home, to enjoy this space that I love so much. So first things first, we need to clear the space. This is so important. I think just, giving yourself that blank slate. One of the big changes I knew I did want to make was moving my desk over against the banister. The reason why I wanted to do this is that when I look up from our bottom floor up into this loft, I don't necessarily want to be able to see up there. I want to have a bit of more of a barrier so that this loft that is very open and very exposed to the first floor can feel more private and feel more enclosed. Having this desk here almost makes the banister feel like a solid wall when you are on the bottom level, and I really am loving it. And I also love that when I'm sitting at my desk now, whenever I'm sitting at my desk now, I can look down into my living room and see my kids and look to my left and look out the front windows, and it just all in all is such a better fit for this space. Now I'm putting things back on the desk for now, but later in this video, I'm going to do another DIY on this vase so I can just bring more of that earthiness that I have incorporated into the rest of my house. I have a lot of cool tones up here, and I really just want to bring some more warmth and some moodiness. So stay tuned for that. Another small change that I decided to make was bringing this beautiful picture up here. This is actually one of our engagement photos. It's one of my favorite photos of us, and it actually was a wedding gift from my parents. When I removed it from my gallery wall, I didn't really have a good place to put it. So I love having it here. I love that I can still see it from the living room and the bottom floor. But now when I look to my right, when I'm sitting at my desk, I can look off to my right and I have a beautiful memory to look at. I also decided to bring this lamp here just to bring some cozy lighting over to this corner. I've wanted a lamp over here for a while. I just didn't know whether I wanted a floor lamp or to put a table lamp. I just love this little arrangement. So now that I have the desk figured out, the next thing I wanted to do was create a cozy corner here by the window. I want a space that I can sit and read and work and feel like this is my space. And so I decided to bring this chair out from my workout room, and I already am so in love with it. I feel like this chair was missing its moment when it was in the other room, but it works so perfectly here. And I brought out my ottoman, and I can just already see myself coming up here and reading in the afternoon, and I already have a few times. A recent vintage find that I wanted to share with you guys was this little plant stand that I picked up at the flea market last weekend. This plant stand is in perfect condition and I got it for $1. All I did was wipe it down with some soap and water, and then I took some mineral oil to it. Oh my goodness, I am so in love with this plant stand, and I just had to show it to you. So now that we have the arrangement kind of set up in the loft, I want to get started on this DIY. So if you haven't watched my video, I did a whole video on doing DIY aged vessels. So I will leave that linked in the description box below if you haven't watched it. But all I did was I went over all of my vases with a mixture of paint and baking soda to give it that textured look. Then I started mixing some paints. I took this mineral chalk paint I've used on my other vases, and I took some of my crafter's paint in color earth brown and a dab of black, and I mixed those three together to give me this darker, more grayish brown tone. And then I just went to town on these vases. The thing I love about this method is that you really can't mess it up. The only way that you can quote unquote mess it up is by over analyzing yourself. I love that you can go in and layer and dab and paint, but eventually at some point you just need to trust and see how it turns out. You can always go in with more paint and more layers. So once I got these vases to where I was happy with them, I went back upstairs to do a bit more cleaning. This is a space, like I said, that I have neglected, and so these windows, they can get dirty so easily, and they also need a good cleaning from the outside, but that's for a later date. So first things first, I'm going in and I'm vacuuming up all the dead bugs and flies that love to collect up here, cleaning the windows, just giving it a nice fresh wipe down. And I think that this just does wonders for any space, making you feel fresh and clean and just a clean slate. the other reasons why I love this area is because it's sort of become my little greenhouse. I never used to have houseplants, but this window, this loft, this space, with all of its natural and indirect light, inspired me to give it a go. And now I am so proud to say that I have propagated so many plants, including some creeping Jenny that I took from my garden because I want so much more of it all throughout our landscaping. And I just love being able to stare and look at these plants. Next up, I'm going to take you to some of my favorite local antique shops because I am on the hunt for another plant stand. This next place is small, but I have found so many little gems here since I first discovered this place. And I really just wanted to encourage you that when you drive by a place, if you're ever curious, just stop in. You never know what you're gonna find. Although my little antique shopping trip was unsuccessful, I am still going to keep my eye out for a plant stand, and I will keep you guys updated if I find anything. Now that my vases are all dry, I'm going to go back in and do something that I haven't done with my vases in the past, and that is adding in this antiquing medium. So I've seen other DIYers do this, and I've just sort of kicked myself for not trying it before, because this technique really gives your DIY vases that distressed age vintage look that we all are striving for, no matter the surface. So even though that this vessel was really quite smooth to begin with, which I'll show you at the end, but it's really simple. I just went in with a paintbrush and sort of dabbed it on. Later on, I ended up sort of stroking it on and taking my wet paper towel again and just dabbing and blending it in until I had the look that I was looking for. And here is the finished product. One of the final touches I knew I needed to make to really transform this space for me from a once office to a cozy reading nook was switching out the artwork. Not only to just bring more cohesion to our home, but really because that's what inspires me when I'm looking around my room and wherever I am in our home. I want some beautiful artwork to look at. And the final touch is this rattan plant stand or vase. I'm not sure what to call this thing. If you know what it is, please let me know in the comments. And I just love how this turned out. So my loves, here is a look back at where we started. My old office, a space that had lost function and purpose for me in this season. And here it is now. I hope that you enjoy this video and coming along with me as I transformed this space. I am so in love with it and I am already enjoying it so much more, and it's got me excited for the months and the seasons to come. And I hope that it encourages you that it's never too late to give yourself a fresh start, to give your space a fresh start, to bring it into alignment with where you are now, and to reflect yourself in your home. If you enjoyed this video, I'd love for you to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. Let me know down below what you love the most about this space. And until next time, I'll see you in my next one. Bye.